is what you call winter lighting, where it feels like I need to put the exposure up, but at the same time, if I do, it will just wash me out even further. Welcome to a new vlog. Today is Tuesday. It's Tuesday afternoon. It's just gone 1 o'clock and I am about to go to the gym. I'm going to do some legs. I am going to go for a run. I'm not going to do anything longer than 20 minutes though. I just kind of need to get the blood flowing and like shock myself with a little bit of hard cardio. We're about to kick off quite a wholesome period. I am writing my last devotional for the year today. For those of you who don't know, I am a writer. I have a Substack and I write twice a week for it. I write a mini essay type thing dedicated to my personal journey with Christianity, featuring some lessons that I think would be quite valuable to other people as well. And then I also write a culture essay that comes out on Sundays, which is a very broad scope of different things. Today is the final essay of the year. I did my final culture essay on Sunday. I tend to break up around this time every year for like my Christmas sort of New Year break, but I'm breaking up a week early because I just want to get my head around some new things that I want to introduce into 2026. Do a little bit of planning around that and also have some time to actually like rest and reflect on all the work that's gone on. And so we're about to enter a period of rest, essentially. A lot of reading, a lot of wholesome trips to galleries and museums, and a lot of solo dates. When I get back from the gym, I'm going to work from home and just get into the word a little bit, and then I'm going to see what the Lord is saying, and I'm going to relay that in a newsletter. So that's all that's on the agenda really today.
Inhale, squat. Exhale, press. 6 more. Make sure that you're shifting your weight back into your heels, sending your glutes far behind you.
I'm dressed and I'm ready to go to the gym. It is Friday afternoon. I think it's about 1:15 or 1:30. It's between that sort of time. And I could really do anything else. I would much rather just get into bed with my laptop, light a candle maybe, put on TV, maybe put on YouTube, scroll on Pinterest, maybe edit a video if that, and just fall in and out of consciousness. That is what I want to do this afternoon. I think I'm just going to do a full body session, which is more than enough, to be honest, given how I feel. I have a lot of tops that are this sort of material, and I got a long sleeve on because it's a little bit colder and I'm not running today. I'd be a little bit too hot in this if I was running, but I'm not. Thursday, which was yesterday, I attempted to go out and get some admin bits done. As you well know, I have finished my newsletter for the year. The final devotional for the year was about confronting God's power. I had a revelation myself that I realised that a lot of my problems are because I don't actually really know the extent of who I am connected to, and obviously the who being God, Jesus in this sense. King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, as mentioned in the Bible, but he's the maker of the universe. Like if you deep that, what does that actually mean to you? That means that he's the most powerful force to have ever existed. Anything powerful, anything that kind of makes you scared for how like powerful and big it is, like for example the ocean and so on and so forth, they're all created by God, and obviously I feel like we know that, but if you actually deep that, it's insane. Because he kind of not brings himself down to our level, but he bothers with us. He cares about us on an intimate level. He loves us, and he regards us as his sons and daughters, his children. I think that kind of throws us off a little bit. In our minds, I think that kind of diminishes his power and the reality of who he actually is. He's talking to everybody at once. He's dealing with everybody on a very, like, intricate level at the same time, as well as managing the world and, like, managing the weather in various parts of the world all at the same time. Because all of that's happening at once, I think we feel like the God that deals with us on a personal level is kind of just like an imaginary friend who can do things, has certain powers, but isn't actually like the God in our minds, if that makes sense. At least in my like experience. And that affects how we view ourselves, obviously, because I think the fact that we even diminish God because he is involved with us and has a relationship with us is a reflection on how we feel about ourselves. So for me, there's a lot of victory to be had. There's a lot of going from strength to strength when I actually like tap into who God is and the fact that he is in my corner and that I have a relationship with him. And what is there really to worry about? I mean, anything that I am struggling with right now will be repaired and rectified in God because he's with me. Anything that I'm worried about in the future that hasn't even happened yet, or any just general abstract worries about what may or may not happen in the future, that'll be fine too, because God is walking side by side. He's gone ahead of me already, and sorted those things out as well. If I'm worried about like developing as a person, the fact that I'm associated with God and that he's with me means I'm inevitably going to get better, reach new levels of like peace and an ability to experience joy that I never thought I'd be able to experience. All of these things, they're working themselves out. And the fact that you have the most powerful force in your corner and on your side, guiding you, motivating you, as a being that knows absolutely everything there is to know about everything, there is no room to be anxious. And that's a word for me. So that's what the devotional is about. It's about seeing yourself, not just the way God sees you, but seeing yourself as an extension of him. But before you can do that, you have to know who it is you're actually dealing with. And I think that we need to be reminded of that. Even if we know it, I think it's something that we have to remind ourselves of. Yeah, I think that's a really good devotional to end the year out on. I'll put like something about it on the screen and I'll put a link in the description box. So I'm just going to go to the gym now and have a good rest of my day. On my way, on my way to church. It is like 11 o'clock, well it's just gone 11 I think. I'm walking to the bus stop. I brought myself some breakfast to go. We're just gonna get to church, we're gonna come home and have a little bit of a cozy late afternoon, evening in. I'm going to the later service, so I'll be home at like 4:30, 5 o'clock if I'm lucky. Breaking in a new pair of shoes as well, the boots. One of the pair of boots that I brought from the Black Friday sale, they're going to be so difficult to get off. They haven't got a zip or anything and they were difficult going on, so I brought some more shoes. I think, well first of all, one of these pairs of shoes were impulse buy, and then the other one was also an impulse buy, but I also consider the other pair to be shoes I actually need. I don't have any black shoes, and by that I mean I've got boots, but I don't have any like black trainers slash like shoes, loafers, like just black shoes you can just put on that aren't boots, that kind of go with everything. They're both Nike and they're both trainers up to a point. They're the Nike Air Rifts, and I got them in the leather. They do not a canvas, but I don't know what to call it. They do another black pair that aren't leather, and then they do some white ones, some grey ones, and these are the ones that I got because I just feel like a nice leather shoe goes with anything. And I like the fact that it's open because it gives me options. I'm going to wear it with socks obviously in the winter. I did read some reviews for these and people were kind of complaining about the quality, namely the glue you can kind of see at the toe, and they weren't wrong. I don't know if it's going to show on camera, but you can kind of see where they've glued down the toe to the platform bit. I'm a little bit perturbed by it, but I'm not extremely disturbed. The second pair are a football boot kind of shoe that Nike are doing, that the girlies are clearly loving. They do a variation of different colours. They're the Nike T90s, and I got it goes off to the left, the shoelaces. The toe is beige, the side is cream, the other side, where it says the 90 and it is grey. I've got a pair of grey jeans that I think would look really good with these. And the variation of other things I feel like this would look quite nice with. So yeah, these are like a fun shoe. I always get mocked by my siblings for going for quite strange trainers when I do buy them.
Weird comment. Where should we start? Oh, we'll start at the beginning. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Why do you think
I just feel like going through some of the stuff I've got on my 2026 board so far already. A little bit early maybe, but it's just how I feel tonight. I want to do some cane rows. I don't really explore a lot of different styles of my natural hair. I mean, this year you would have seen, like, if you've watched some of the other vlogs, you would have seen me really trying to get into some natural hairstyles that don't just revolve around mini twists. But I want to do things like this. I feel like my style has gotten to a point where I'm comfortable kind of rocking these sort of simple, kind of flat to the head styles. What else is in here? These, because I brought boots like this. I showed them on the channel before. I brought boots like this in the last vlog, I believe. They're not leather, they're satin, but I want to bang those out and become a heel person a little bit more as I venture ever closer to my 28th birthday. I want to get some more piercings in my ears. I also have a few makeup looks in here. Yeah, we're in the early stages at the moment with this board. But yeah. I'm liking it so far.
Said to him, Lord, teach us to pray, just as John taught his disciples. He said to them, when you pray, say, Father, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, give us each day our daily bread.
But the prettiest sight to see was the holly happening on your own front door.
I'm in two minds about wearing these glasses today. I want to maybe go for the other ones. I think I've showed the other ones. They're like a little bit bigger. I'm going out today. I'm going to a magazine shop to pick up a few magazines as part of my like restorative Christmas / New Year break. Different things I'm doing to like, I don't know, to feel alive again before we enter a new year. I'm a collector of magazines, but I haven't added to my collection for a very long time, so I just felt like that was something that was going to make me happy. When I went to London, I went to Waterstones. I did include some clips of that, I do believe. And I very impulsively brought 2 new books, both fiction. Both of the books are relatively thick as well. I think the last 2 books I brought were books that I could kind of just read quite casually. One was an essay collection and one was like a short story anthology, and so I don't feel like those are books you can just kind of pick up and just read from start to finish. I mean, you could, but I don't feel like doing that with those, so I brought 2 new books. Let's start with the first one. The first one I brought was Middlemarch by George Eliot. This is quite a well-known book, and just peep the thickness of it. It's going to take me a while to get through, and the person that served me said that it was a sort of book that you need a lot of concentration for. There's a little bit of law, like personal law with this book. I remember going to the library when I was in my first year of college, and I was having a little bit of a rough time entering into like a new environment and stuff, and so I was being a little bit angsty. And I used to go to the library a lot on my own and read and take a lot of notes, partially for no reason. I mean, there's maybe like an element of what I do now that was kind of helped along by the fact that I used to go to the library a lot and write a lot of notes in the books that I used to half read, mind you. I never used to finish the books that I used to be writing all these notes about, but books that looked interesting to me. And I remember reading like the first few pages of Middlemarch, and I think I was also like doing a bit of a thing where I was trying to teach myself new words. That kind of rings a bell, but Middlemarch was one of the books that I did that with, and I remember reading the first few pages of it and being very interested, but then I kind of I never checked the book out of the library, so my relationship with the book kind of stopped there. So when I brought up this book the other day, it was almost like it was almost feeding into a bit of a redemption arc and kind of reclaiming the lost years of my adolescence. It's about this woman who enters into this quite bad marriage, and everything that kind of revolves around their lives and that dynamic, I suppose. That's a very simplified way of describing this book. I'm sure I've gotten it completely wrong, but the second book that I brought was The Long Goodbye by Raymond Chandler. And I've realised that my problem with fiction is that I keep trying to go for books with no plot per se, that just sound very like emotionally fulfilling to read. Like books that are a little bit angsty and a little bit depressing, but also the sorts of books that make you feel seen. Those are the books that keep getting recommended to me on like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and those are the books with no real plot. And I think that in order for me to get my relationship with fiction kind of like jump started, I need a book with a very heavy, like exciting plot, because those are the books I used to like reading when I used to read as a child. And so there's this guy whose wife dies, and he has a private investigator friend, and the private investigator friend is basically trying to help him stitch together his life again because he's a little bit of a mess. And then he's also an alcoholic, and he kills himself, but then there's more to the story about what happened with his wife, and the private investigator is aiming to uncover what really happened and whether his friend killed his wife. And it sends him into this like stretch of LA that's filled with like quite rich people whose lives are kind of falling apart, but they're hiding behind the fact that they're rich, and all the different like trials and tribulations that go on there. Don't know if I explained that very well, but it's a very punchy plot. I don't know why I did that, sorry. It's a very punchy plot, and that is what I feel I need to restore my relationship with fiction. Obviously, I'm an adult now, so I've clearly gone for a very adult plot. As I've mentioned on this channel, I'm a massive non-fiction reader, and I write non-fiction. I've written fiction before, but I mainly write non-fiction, so I do want to get back into fiction. It is now 10 to 2. I need to leave in about 10 minutes. I'm going to actually leave this vlog here. I'm going to continue vlogging, obviously, but I think the clips from today will go into the final vlog of the year. And this vlog is now over, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I guess I will see you in the next vlog.